Live. Okay, here we go. So today's date, it is 9/17, November 16. So what we want to do today, our objective is actually making or creating quadratic equations. Okay. What we want to do is I'm going to give you three formulas. I want you to write these formulas down in your notes. And don't lose these, okay? These are your three formulas. One is y equals ax minus h quantity squared plus k. All right? We've seen this. We've seen this lots of times. We've seen this all this week. We know it's in vertex form. We know the vertex is hk. All right? So the vertex is always these two numbers. As an example, if I have y equals -2 times x minus 4 plus 2, we know our vertex in this example is at +4, 2. Okay, we've seen this all this week. We've talked about this, right? Vertex form. I like vertex form because it's easy. The vertex we just get from these numbers. So whatever these numbers are, that's our vertex. Makes it pretty easy. Standard form is y equals some ax squared plus bx plus c. Standard form, you need this formula. You need the x equals -b over 2a. That's the little formula you need to find the line of symmetry and the vertex. And the vertex. And like Emily said, once you find that answer, you plug it in. So you get your answer and you plug it in. Our x-intercept form is y equals some ax minus p x minus q. And this is like, it's factored. This is if you have it factored, and then you can get the x-intercepts. So we've talked about all three of these. We've been doing this a lot. In fact, we were doing this, we were moving them. We knew what the vertex was, we were moving them. Now that's vertex form, okay? We've been doing this one. This is a little bit harder because you have to use this formula, the -b over 2a. But this one's not too bad, okay? We did this one with factoring, right? We factored it, solved it. Now, the thing we got to talk about is the a, value of a. So the value of a makes a difference. Here I gave you a value of a. What does this number tell you? Come on, it's got to tell you something. What's the negative mean of this? Down. You everybody agree? And the 2 means it's going to be twice as tall. So it's going to be down and tall, okay? Every one of these is going to have some value of a that we're going to need to find, okay? So let's look at example 1 and see if we can find the value of a for example 1. So example 1 says this. A parabola passes through this point, 6, 4, and has a vertex of 2, -3. Now there's a keyword in here, and that's that, keyword vertex. So we got three formulas that we could use. But if we're given the vertex, it tells us which of these three formulas we should use. Obviously, if it says vertex, we're going to use the vertex form. So we need to find an equation. Let's use one of these three. We know the vertex. Let's use the vertex form. So I'm going to go y equals some ax minus h squared plus k. So that's the formula I want to use. So we've got to pick one of the three, and that's the one I'm going to pick. H and k are the vertex. So here's my h, and here's my k. my h is 2, because that's my vertex, and my k is -3. So I'll put my 2 there, and I'll put my -3 there. All right, let's put those numbers in and rewrite it. So I've got a y equals a x minus 2 squared plus a -3, which is really minus a 3. I don't really need plus a minus. All right, I don't need the plus minus, but there it is. Okay, now, what I need to do is find the value of a. So my whole goal is to find a. I have too many variables. I've got x, I've got y, and a. Too many variables. But what I can do is plug in the point. Every point, it's just a regular point, right? It doesn't say anything special, but it is a point. And every point has some x and y value. Every point's x, y, right? X, y. So in this case, I'm going to put my 6 in for my x value. And I'll put my 4 in for my y value. So I'm going to take my 6 and put it there, and my 4, put it there, okay? So I'll rewrite this as 4 equals a times 6 minus 2 squared minus 3. And now I can find the value of a, because all I have is numbers and just a. So I have to solve for a. I can do this. 4 is equal to a times 4 squared minus 3. I just went 6 minus 2, that's all. 4 squared is 16, so I've got 4 is equal to 16a minus 3. And then I'm going to solve. I'll go plus 3, just solve them like Algebra 1. Plus 3, and I'll have 7. I'm not out of room, but I have 7 is equal to 16a. That's it, and let's leave it at 7 over 16. Yeah, don't make it a decimal. 7 over 16 is really a much better answer, okay? So now, I'm going to take this and put it right there, and I'll have my answer. Because I still need x and y as an equation. I just now know a. So my answer to this equation is, y equals, I know the a, 7/16, parentheses x minus 2 squared minus 3. That is the equation to a parabola that has this vertex and passes through that point. Okay? What do you think? Thumbs up? Sideways? What do you think? Pretty, not too bad? So we're just plugging in numbers. That's all we're doing, is just plugging in numbers and solve it. Easy. Okay, now example 2. So a parabola has x-intercepts of 2 and 8 and passes through the point 0, 3. Okay, so we have a hint. X-intercepts, right? So if we've got x-intercepts, then we're going to take and plug it into all the way up to my x-intercepts one, okay? Into that one. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this as my y equals a x minus p x minus q, and I need to find the equation. All right, good. I've got the right equation. Now let's put some numbers in. Well, that's my p, 2 is my p, and 8 is my q, because those are the intercepts, right? 2 is my p, so I'll put my 2 here, and I'll put my 8 there. So I'll just take my 2, plug it there, and take my 8, and plug it in there. Okay, so let me rewrite this. I'm going to have a y equals a times x minus 2 times x minus 8, okay? All right, we're doing pretty good, but now, again, what we're trying to do is find a, right? We've got to find the value of a. Too many variables. I've got x, y's, and a's. But I have a point, right? So I've got a point, and every point has an x and a y value. So we'll plug our 0 in for x's, put our 3 in for y, and then we'll be able to solve it. So I'll put my 3 in for the y value. I'll put my 0 in for the x's. And I should be able to find the value of a.
All right, I'm going to have then a 3 equals a times negative 2 times negative 8, because, you know, 0 minus 2 and 0 minus 8. Negative 2 times negative 8 is 16. Divide by 16, and it's 3/16, right? So a is equal to 3/16. Okay, now we need the equation, right? So if I take my 3/16 and put it right there, I'll have my answer. So my answer, yeah, y equals 3/16 times my x minus 2 times my x minus 8, okay? All right, so far so good? All right, you guys ready to turn the page? All right. Now this one's a little bit harder, but I have a trick for helping us with this. The trick is going to involve the calculators, okay? So I want you to grab one of my good calculators, okay? Everybody grab one of my good calculators, okay? Let me grab one of my good calculators, and I'll go through it slowly with you, okay? So if you have 3 points, or more, 3 or more, then we can let our calculator do the work. So what we need to do is we're going to put these numbers into our calculator. So we're going to go and find this button. And I'm going to go slowly with you, okay? So my stat button is right there. You guys ever see my stat button? So you push stat. And I'm going to go slowly with it. Yes, edit. So we're going to push edit because we're going to make or change. When you edit, you make or change, right? So I'm going to push edit, enter. Now, does anybody have numbers in their calculator already? So to get rid of your numbers, you're going to go and use the up arrow, okay? Push the up arrow. You're highlighting your list, and then push clear down arrow. It should clear your list, okay? If you have a list over here, you go and highlight your list, go up, make sure you're highlighting the list because you're going to clear your whole list, right? So I'm going to clear my list, so then I push clear down arrow, okay? Everybody have a blank screen now? Yes, Luke, let me help you. Let me help you. Okay, you're good. Okay, here you go. Oh, you don't have a list two. Well, okay, then when you get ready to do yours, we'll have to make sure it says list 1. Okay, good. Okay, everybody ready? So we're going to put in our points. So my points, are you ready? Come on, I'm going to go -2, 1, and 4. Because those are like my x's, right? So I put -2. These are my x's. 1 and 4, and then on my y's I'll go 5, enter, -3, enter, and 7. Okay, make sure everybody can do this. I want to make sure everybody can do this. You get stuck. Oh, that's use that. That's okay. So you guys got to be careful on your negatives. So this calculator has the difference between a negative. So you got to use your negative and not just subtract. Does that make sense? Use your negative for negatives. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, I'm going to put in my notes, enter data, because that's what we just did. We entered data, right? Put our numbers in. Okay. We can graph it. We don't need to graph it. We're just going to get an answer. Okay. So then, I'm going to push quit, not clear. Don't hit clear because I don't want to clear my numbers. But I'm going to hit quit. Second quit. Okay. Now I want a blank screen. So what's in my calculator now are those 3 points, right? Oh. Okay. Okay. Need help? Ask. Need help? Ask. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to go second quit. All right. I'm going to get that sticky out there.
Okay, everybody have a blank screen now? So, okay, everybody good? Okay, so, now everybody got a blank screen? So now, my numbers are in my calculator, right? So now I want to go back to stat. Yeah, I'm gonna have Luke, you might come back here and stand by me while I do this, so I can do yours at the same time. Okay, now, go back to stat. So go back to stat, and this time, when you hit stat, we're not going to edit, we're going to calculate an answer. So hit stat, and then hit calc, because we want to calculate an answer. Which one do we need? 5. We're doing quadratics, aren't we? Are we doing quadratics, right? So we're going to go down to 5. We want to go to quadratic regression. Luke, this next step, you're going to have to look at and see what you got. Quad reg. So Luke, right here, you got to make sure you change that to list 2, and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, L2.
Oh, I missed it.
It's in blue.
Change to 3.
Okay, L3.
I think I got it.
I pressed quad, but it took me to
Hope I got it.
Look, what it took me to.
Press enter again.
Okay, now did you get it? Go down, calculate, right? So go down and calculate. And here's what I get. Okay, so here's what I get. I got A is 1, B is negative 0.16 repeating, and C is negative 2.3 repeating. Okay? Now, if you don't get that, raise your hand. Let me help you. Everybody get that?
I hope so, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow I'm getting it.
Okay. Now, did everybody get this answer?
Yes.
Did everybody get that answer? Okay.
¿Me das agua? Tengo una fría.
Okay, now, what do we find? Well, what do we find? Well, I'm going to turn the page back. Turn the page back, and look at this, standard form. What do you see? What do you see, standard form? You see an A, B, C, don't you? So I'm going to rewrite my y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, and my equation is y equals 1x squared minus 1.6 repeating x minus 2.3 repeating. Now that was pretty easy to get that equation, wasn't it? But just had to use the calculator. Okay, now, homework. And it won't be hard. You've got time to get it done, but you got to do it, okay? You got to do it.
It's due Monday, right?
Yeah. So we're going to do page 57. We're going to do 1 through 8 all, okay?